here you were, a Jewish boy in a predominantly German area at a time when that was very dangerous, not even receiving the support of your parents because, as you just said, your mother was being physically violent with you.
I could see in my mother when she got violent, the little girl that she was, working homes in Hungary at 5, 6, 7 years of age, scrubbing floors with her sister Olga, who was maybe 2 years older than her, and that her family had put her in that kind of an environment.
But you couldn't see that as a child.
No, but I could see in her face an anger, an animal, because those beatings, they never hurt me because I was able to evade them, you know.
Tony, they hurt you. This is a powerful woman.
She was.
This is, you had your hands up to shield your face because you didn't want it to disfigure you, because you knew how important your face was.
Right.
I guess I'm wondering, what was the voice inside you that was making you, driving you forward?
My looks.
Who told you you were handsome?
I told me I was handsome.
You must have had feedback.
I saw it in the streets. I saw the way some women looked at me, some guys looked at me. I lived in the back of the tailor store with my father and mother and with Julie up to that point. And I said to myself, this is what you gotta pay for your looks. This is the price you're paying.
Really? Who told you it was sinful or bad or wrong to look as good as you did?
Well, my environment told me that.
What did they say? Who said what?
Well, it wasn't not only speaking to me, but having to take the garbage out, having to be careful when I delivered clothes for my father so they didn't tear the clothes out of my hand or throw me up against the wall and go through my pockets. I could feel the anger of these guys around me. Nobody wanted to seek me out as a friend. And I was trying to be cute. The girls were easier, it seemed, but these guys weren't, and I wanted them to accept me. I wanted to be part of an environment. I don't want to sound that I had a bad time, but I did.
You did have a bad time, but I'm just wondering now, because you've thrown up for me the possibility that this was a male concern, that you were going to get their girls. You were going to, was that what it was? They were threatened by your looks?
Yeah, they didn't want, listen, to get a girl in those days meant what? Holding a hand in the movies, sharing some chewing gum. There was no kissing. There was no rubbing up against each other. We were still kids. We didn't make the connection of that to affection.
Right.
You know? I remember a girl named Gretchen that I was nuts about. She had the most beautiful legs, a wonderful muscle of the calf, down to a narrow ankle in little tennis shoes.
Sounds like you're a leg man.
Yes, I was, until I saw the bosoms that I switched back and forth. And in between was the bottom. So you see, I had a wonderful trip. Oh dear. I enjoyed it though. You know, with all of the madnesses we talk about, I always found a little breath of fresh air. I'd go up to Fifth Avenue to see the people floating by, see these beautiful girls, men coming and going to work, cabs pulling up to the street. I loved it. You know, this to me was the joy I had. I had learned how to maintain myself by not going to school. I'd go to museums, I'd go down streets, I'd get on the subway. It doesn't seem like I was doing much, but I was doing a lot.
You were getting a different kind of education.
I was getting a different kind of education, which was laced with wanting to be in the movies.
Yes. When did you first become aware of that desire to be in the movies?
It was after Julie died. I'd go to the films, and I'd see a lot of these guys that I loved. Cary Grant, Errol Flynn, Tyrone Power. I felt I was a combination of all of these guys. And I would do everything I did was always, when I get in the movies, I want to be able to remember it. There was always something as I was growing up. After my brother died, my mother got pregnant. They had no business getting pregnant.
Why is that?
Well, they were only doing it because they thought God was punishing them because of Julius, and they were going to change that omen, that hate, or whatever it was that brought it on, and give it to Robert, the living. Robert turned out to be a schizophrenic and was in and out of hospitals and then ran away from one and was beat up and died. I hardly knew him. I knew when he was a baby and a little kid. We hung out together, but he was always distracted, you know, Pamela. It was hard to reach. And by that time, I didn't know what I was going to do. I couldn't take it anymore at home. And just about that time, I was signed to go to the movies. So that helped a lot. I went to California. That separation was an important one for me.